We continue our reading of Lest We Forget, a daily devotional by author George R. Knight. Today's reading, January 16, an urgent message. Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as ye shall find, bid to the marriage. Matthew 22:9. Millerite believers felt a sense of urgency to warn the world to prepare for the coming of Christ. One of the major instruments they utilized would be the camp meeting, a form of religious gathering employed by the Methodists and others since about 1800. The initiative for the Millerite camp meeting took place at the Boston General Conference in May 1842. By that date, the year 1843 loomed perilously close, with most of the world yet to be warned. L.C. Collins expressed the faith of many when he wrote, "My faith is strong in the coming of Christ," in 43. I make no calculations for anything beyond but glory, but with so short a time to awake the slumbering virgins and save souls, we must work, night and day. God has thrust us out in haste to give the last invitation, and we must labor in earnest and compel them to come in so that his house may be filled. Strong men in Israel are rallying to our help. The midnight cry must yet be made to ring, and ring through every valley and over every hilltop and plain. An awful trembling must yet seize upon sinners in Zion. A crisis must come before the door of mercy is everlastingly shut against them. They must be made to feel that it is now or never. A sense of urgency and responsibility rested heavily upon the Millerites by mid-1842. The day after Collins penned his letter, the momentous Boston General Conference opened with Joseph Bates at the helm. The conference not only voted to hold camp meetings, it also appointed a committee to superintend them. The principal object of the meeting was to awake sinners and purify Christians by giving the midnight cry. Some Millerites felt that the very attempt to hold such meetings was a bit presumptive. After all, a camp meeting was a great undertaking. What, declared some, a little handful of Adventists hold a camp meeting? Why, they are hardly able to hold a house meeting. But the key word was that they would try in spite of appearances. And God rewarded their faith. Josiah Litch estimates that 500 to 600 were converted to God during the first two Adventist camp meetings. There is a lesson here. It is not outward appearances that count, but God's blessings, and He is still willing to bless those who step out in faith and try. This concludes our reading today of Lest We Forget.